Hi guys. As I have told, today I'll be starting a read along with me, and the name of the book is Murder in the City, and it's written by Supratim Sarkar. So I'm really excited, guys. I hope you will like this, and I hope you'll also read along with me. I know that most of you don't have the book, so just listen, and I hope I'm clear. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining in, and I hope this session will be very useful for you guys and also informative. Hi, yeah, so I'll be starting with chapter 1. So I'll be reading whatever is in the beginning of this book, which is this one. Yeah, Supratim Sarkar, a 1997 batch officer of the Indian Police Service, is presently Additional Commissioner of Police, Kolkata. A voracious reader and an erstwhile journalist, his passion includes cricket and ancient history. He is an alumnus of Presidency College, Kolkata. He lives in Kolkata with his wife and 2 children. Swati Sen Gupta is an author and journalist based in Kolkata. Now she is the translator for this book. Her published books are Out of War, Half Field is Mine, Guns on My Red Earth, and The Talking Bird. Swati studied English at Jadavpur University and then worked as a journalist for 14 years for various newspapers in Kolkata. She runs a workshop on gender for the young called Elephant in the Room and spearheaded the much talked about Dear Boys project in Kolkata schools supported by the Kolkata police, in which she addressed gender issues with teenage boys. She loves small towns, tea, and the chirping of birds, and lives in a brave and beautiful world in which girls and boys do not carry out gender specific roles. So I'm done with the blurb. That is the introduction of the author as well as the translator. So going ahead with the chapter 1. Before that, I would like to show you this. So I would like to read the foreword, which is very small, and they have given something like this. So it's kind of interesting. So the foreword is: writing a foreword for a book written by Supratim Sarkar, who has been eulogized in cyberspace as the best thing to happen to Bengal detective story writing in recent times, put me under a lot of pressure. I searched for tips on the internet and found that if you have been asked to write a foreword, it means that you are already a published writer or have accomplished something in life. I realized that none of these hold true for me. I have no books to my name, and I have been asked to write the foreword because I head one of the most distinguished police forces in the country. And then, suddenly, I noted that of all the books written by brilliant writers which I have read, I don't remember even one name of the person who wrote the foreword or the contents of that foreword. That was quite a liberating thought, and instantly the pressure vanished. In fact, the storm that the stories in this book created when they were put on the Kolkata Police Facebook page and the Kolkata Police website literally forced us to bring these out in a book form. The reaction about the writing style was truly overwhelming. And let the truth be told, it is difficult to live a story in the middle once you have started reading it. It is no mean achievement considering the fact that the writer did not have even the slightest liberty of playing with the facts and basic line of investigation. Here, before you in the English translation of these stories done by Swati Sen Gupta, an author in her own right, which I am sure readers will like as much as they have enjoyed reading the original Bengali version. This book is not only about good storytelling, but also about real life flavor of these stories. The cases solved in these stories are not a figment of the imagination, but of the writer, but indicative of the hard work and the skill of the Kolkata police detectives. You will not find a Sherlock Holmes or a Hercule Poirot solving cases, but each case shows the detective skills of the Kolkata police officers, skills that match the best in the world. It is a real honor and privilege to read a force which has brilliant detectives like the ones showcased in this book, and also outstanding writers like Supratim Sarkar. The professionalism of Kolkata police officers did not surprise me one bit, but I must confess, Supratim's writing style came across as a pleasant surprise. Great writing combined with brilliant detective skills make this book an instant winner. In the best traditions of detective storytelling, I would like to draw the attention of readers to an unsolved murder case which happened exactly 69 years ago in another continent. On 1st December 1948, in Australia, a body of an unidentified Caucasian male was found with no identification marks on his person whatsoever except a piece of paper torn off the famous Omar Khayyam book Rubaiyat, on which was written Tamam Shud. It is a Persian phrase meaning finished or ended. Readers must be familiar with Kam Tamam, frequently used in Hindi to indicate murder, which has the same Persian root. Investigators found that someone has done a professional job of removing all possible identification marks from the clothes of the deceased. This case has been called Australia's most baffling murder mystery and still remains unsolved, despite considerable interest and effort undertaken by the Australian police and even the academic world. It is widely believed that the man was killed by an undetectable poison. That particular edition of Rubaiyat was located during the investigation, and the investigators found an encrypted message written in that book, which to date has not been decrypted. Readers interested in exercising their mental faculties may like to have a crack at this code, which the investigators believe might lead to the actual identity of murder. So this is the code, guys, which has been in that piece of paper, as you can see. So this code is still unsolved, and whoever solves this actually can get a bit closer to the murderer. So it's a very interesting thing. Just it reminds me of the Zodiac killer, who is famous in USA. Wish all readers a happy and enjoyable reading. So this is by Rajiv Kumar, IPS officer, Commissioner of Police, Kolkata, written in December 2017. And now I'll start with the chapter 1. The name of the chapter is Thorn in the Flesh. This is about the Amarendra Pandey murder case, also known as Pakur murder case 1934. Toligang Police Station, case number 67, date 17th February 1934. Indian Penal Code sections 302 and 120B, murder and criminal conspiracy. Oof, what on earth did he pierce into my arm? A sudden stabbing sensation made the 20-year-old man pull up the sleeves of his kurta and examine his upper arm. It looked like a simple pinprick, but he began to feel a dreadful burning sensation already. 26th November 1933. An ordinary afternoon was quickly taking strides towards evening time, as if it were rushed off its feet. A sea of people had crammed Howrah station. Coolies carrying oversized bulky baggage were calling out their urgent, peremptory, "Thoda side DJ bhai sahab, brother please give me some space." Trains were chugging in and out of the station, smoking billowing from them, and announcements of their arrival and departure were being made over the loudspeaker. A small group on the railway platform was drawing the attention of a passerby. Amarendra Chandra Pandey, youngest scion of the Pakur Jamindari, was going home, and something akin to a grand send-off was occurring at the station. Amarendra and his sister Bonobala were setting off for Pakur, in neighboring Bihar then, now in Jharkhand, and their close friends Kamala Prasad Pandey, Ashok Prakash Mitra, and several others were standing around them. Their stepbrother, Vinayendra, had also come to the farewell congregation, though he did not actually belong there. He was more of an interloper, a thorn in their flesh. The train was about to leave any moment, but the farewells were not over yet. Suddenly, a man wrapped in a grimy shawl came from the opposite direction, darted towards Amarendra, and after slightly nudging him, melted into the crowd. The very next moment, Amarendra felt a sharp jab of pain. Oof! What on earth did he pierce into my arm? The Amarendra Pandey murder case, also known as Pakur murder case, was investigated by Kolkata police more than 85 years ago. It is deemed to be one of the most puzzling cases in the list of extraordinary probes conducted by the country's oldest commissariat. It is still mentioned in discussions on crime and police investigation researchers as one of the first cases of individual bioterrorism in the modern world history. Details of this case are widely available on the internet, yet confusion prevails due to a lack of authenticity of the sources. This narrative has been taken from the Kolkata Police Case Diary, well prescribed in the Kolkata Police Museum on Acharya Prafulla Chandra Road on display for visitors. Pakur district is now one of the 24 districts of Jharkhand. It used to be a subdivision of Santal Pargana district since 1868. It became a separate district only in 1994. Famous for its black stone, Pakur was an administrative center of the district for many years. To the north lies Sahibgunj, Damka to the south, Goda in the west, and the West Bengal's Murshidabad and Birbhum districts to its east. Pakur's Pandey family was one of the richest Jamindars during the pre-independence days. Jamindar Pratapendra Chandra Pandey had married twice. Vinayendra and Kanal Bala were his children from his first marriage, and Amarendra and Bonabala from the second marriage. Pratapendra's elder brother had died young, leaving behind his widow, Suryavati Devi. The couple had no children. When the events described here occurred, Pratapendra's wives had both passed away. In fact, Amarendra's mother had just died a few weeks after his birth, and Suryavati Devi, his aunt, who had no children, had brought up Amarendra as her own child. He was the apple of her eyes, close to her heart, whom she had coddled and cosseted all throughout his childhood and beyond. Pratapendra and Satyavati Devi had divided the property equally, and there had been no dispute or discontent on any front over it. The annual earning from the property crossed rupees 1 lakh, the amount itself indicative of the family's prosperity. Pratapendra died in 1929, bequeathing his share of the property equaling between his two sons, Vijayendra and Amarendra. There was only one technical problem. Amarendra, who was the younger, was 15 years old at that time, a minor, and still a school-going child. Therefore, his half-brother Vinayendra, then a young man of 22 years, was entrusted with Amarendra's share till he became an adult. He was expected to hand it over when his brother turned 18. Vinayendra had a dissolute life, excessively fond of drinking and women. These two were the driving forces in his life. He frequently visited two women of apparent ill repute, that is, Balika Bala and Chanchala. Sometimes he would travel to distant Mumbai, then Bombay, drawn by the allure of the film industry's glitz and glamour. Naturally, he was averse to regimen, restraint, or control, and he has been so right since his teenage days. Amarendra belonged to the other side of the spectrum. gentlemanly, upholder of high ethical and moral standards, keeping on pursuing a higher education with a penchant for a regular fitness regime. These qualities naturally made him popular among the people of Pakur, all of whom loved their Chota Babu, the younger of the Skyans, to bits. After passing out school, Amarendra joined Patna College. Vinayendra, not unexpectedly, often delayed sending his brothers fees and money for other expenses. In 1932, when he was in the fourth year of college, Amarendra turned 18. The teenager was mature for his years and, knowing his brother's nature, did not think it would be prudent to delay seeking the rightful possession of his share of the property. Accordingly, he shot off a letter to Vinayendra. Suryavati Devi had also advised him to do this. She lived in Deoghar, which is about 150 kilometers from Pakur, and she was in regular touch with Amarendra. Completely aware of Vinayendra's vicious waywardness, she advised the younger brother to demand his share right away. Vinayendra naturally was loath to losing a large part of the property to his stepbrother. It would leave him with less money to fritter away. But the law was not on his side, as his father's will was ironclad, and despite the reluctance, he had to hand over a share equivalent to his own portion to his brother. This entire episode was fraught with acerbic conversations, unpleasant exchange of letters, and bitterness between the two brothers. During Durga Puja that year, Amarendra visited Suryavati in Deoghar. To their surprise, Vinayendra too visited there after a few days, almost as if he were tailing Amarendra. The awkwardness between the two brothers compelled Vinayendra to rent temporary accommodation for himself. One evening, Vinayendra dropped by and proposed the two of them go on a short walk. "Babu, come, let's go on a stroll," he told his brother with great enthusiasm. Babu was Amarendra's pet name. He agreed, despite all the bitterness and resentment. The two were out for a while that evening. Amarendra traipsed around with Vinayendra, hoping it would be over soon. Suddenly, taking him completely by surprise, Vinayendra fished out something from his pocket. It closely resembled a pair of spectacles. "Look, what I have got you from Kolkata." He was holding a pair of Pinson's glasses in his hands. He insisted that Amarendra wear these glasses, a stylish and luxurious possession those days. Despite Amarendra's mild objections, Vinayendra had his way. In fact, he ended up almost jamming the spectacles on Amarendra's nose. The mild resistance ended up hurting Amarendra's nose, but he was too taken aback by his brother's odd behavior to react immediately. He found that the glasses had even cut his nose in a bit. Did Vinayendra put a wee bit more pressure than he was required? Amarendra was not sure, and he confided to his friends and Suryavati about it. But it was, after all, a tiny bruise, so it remained a mere suspicion, not a presentiment of disaster, as a disaster is what it eventually turned out to be. After 3 days, his face swelled up massively, numbing all senses around his nose. The family physician was called in and he diagnosed it as an attack of tetanus. Amarendra was immediately given the anti-tetanus injection. By then, Vinayendra had returned to Kolkata. In fact, he had gone back immediately after the attack on his brother. But that did not stop him from making sure that his attack was successful. Accordingly, he sent a young doctor from Kolkata for Amarendra's treatment. The doctor, Taranath Bhattacharya, had a way with people, a great gift of the gab, something that instantly captivated others. But somehow, despite his best efforts, Bhattacharya was not successful. He proposed the use of morphine for quick recovery, but the doctors, who had kept Amarendra under round-the-clock supervision, promptly shot down the idea. Next, Vinayendra himself landed in Deoghar, accompanied by an apparently even more experienced physician, Dr. Durgarattan Dar. This doctor was perhaps more persuasive, for he gave Amarendra an injection that he had carried all the way from Kolkata. Soon, after injecting the medicine, Dr. Dar and Vinayendra left Deoghar under the pretext of a medical emergency that required the doctor's urgent attention. Within an hour of injection, Amarendra's condition began to deteriorate. He began to flit precariously between consciousness and semi-consciousness, and his blood pressure started fluctuating. But somehow, he managed to pull through. It was a close shave that time. Vinayendra was back in Deoghar soon, and this time, along with the same Dr. Dar and another new entrant, Dr. Shibapada Bhattacharya. But by then, Amarendra's relatives and other well-wishers were too infuriated to allow his stepbrother anywhere close to him. Suryavati had given strict instructions to not allow Vinayendra anywhere in Amarendra's vicinity. After several futile attempts and many arguments with her, Vinayendra had to swallow his pride and return to Kolkata with his lineup of doctors. Suryavati, however, now really worried about her beloved Amarendra. His health was a constant worry for her. The boy, who used to wake up at 5 in the morning and exercise regularly, was now unable to leave his bed before 10 a.m. due to a debilitating weakness. His condition did not improve even after a year. In 1933, Amarendra was taken to Kolkata in the hope that better medical care might help him bounce back to life. A house on Harish Mukherjee Road was taken on rent. The doctor on call was the celebrated Nil Ratan Sirkar. The NRS Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata is named after him. Dr. Sirkar prescribed medicines and advised a break from his work schedule, along with a trip outside the city to get them clean, fresh and ample rest. Following his advice, Amarendra went on a vacation to Bhubaneswar in adjoining Odisha. But there wasn't much improvement. He continued to be struck by the same crippling fatigue that restricted him to bed for large parts of the day. He was dizzy at times and had poor appetite. Once a voracious reader who enjoyed the company of books, he now turned away from reading much, to the surprise of everyone around him. His friends brought an endless supply of books for him, but Amarendra would leaf through a few pages and then put them aside. After a few months, he returned to Pakur and got back to work, albeit in frail health. All the while, sprightly Amarendra was turning into a weak, diseased man. Vinayendra was hard at work. He was planning meticulously how to deal with the final blow. 18th November 1933. Amarendra received a telegram from Suryavati Devi which read, "Property levy related legal matters. Rush to Kolkata." Amarendra urgently reached Kolkata only to discover that it was a bogus telegram. Suryavati was neither in Kolkata nor had she sent any such telegram. When Amarendra informed her about the trick, she was filled with dread. It was no mystery, nor did it take a great deal of effort to guess who had sent the hoax letter. Only it was impossible to predict what Vinayendra's next trap would be. "Don't let Dada come anywhere close to you," Suryavati pleaded. When Amarendra asked his brother about the telegram, he turned combative and denied everything with a dramatic shrug. All this while, Vinayendra also made several failed attempts at forging Amarendra's signature in order to withdraw a lion's share from their joint account deposit of 2 lakh rupees. It was no small amount. And when Amarendra learnt about this from their family lawyer, it led to bitter altercations between the brothers all over again. 25th November 1933, Amarendra was due to leave for Pakur from Kolkata the next day. That evening, Vinayendra made a sudden appearance in the house rented by Amarendra. So guys, we have a few more pages for the chapter to end, but I would like to stop here. So I'll be continuing it tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this session. This is the book Murder in the City by Supratim Sarkar sir, and this book tells us the real cases which took place in Kolkata. So it's a very exciting read, and the present case is something which took place pre-independence. So I hope you join me again tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. See you again tomorrow. Bye.